But now we're in our barnyard. The barnyard we use for goats that have just given birth or something like that most of the time, because it's a smaller area and they can bond with their mama. And the goats like to come in here because this part of the barnyard is really rocky. And the rocks get warm this time of year. This is November, and they like to lay on the warm rocks a lot of times, and then they like just to hop around as well. I mean, there's some big rocks in here. And this also reminds me, you know, of you can see some of these big rocks. The goats love them. But Christ is our rock, you know, and it's just another thing. It's like there he is, and it's going to be so much easier, you know, when Trevor gets just a little bit older. When he's already getting pretty smart, but we can teach him these biblical stories and walk him around the farm and say, you know, hey, Jesus is a rock. Look at this rock. Are you going to be able to move this gigantic rock? No, you're not. And that's the way Christ is in our life. And as you can hear the rooster crowing, reminds me, do you remember when the rooster crows thrice? You will deny, when the rooster crows, you will deny me thrice, 3 times. And it's just things like that. If you look around, even if you don't have a farm, at the home you got, I mean, there's all kinds of different ways that you can find biblical stories and teaching for your kids, and even for yourself. Sometimes we're going to go in the barn here. This is one of our chicken pens here. Well, I can't leave out our bunny. We adopted this bunny, and she's been with us now for about 3.5 years. Ain't you, girl? So now we're going to walk around and go through the barn here. This used to be a tobacco barn. Hey, girl. Huh? What you doing? Huh? What you doing? Okay. She's trying to sneak out the gate. I know what she's doing. And when we bought this place, this was a tobacco barn. You can kind of see it's a pretty good ways up in here. And they had the tobacco boards across that they hung tobacco on them. I took them down because I was always afraid that one of them might get loose and fall down and hit us in the head, and I'm getting too old to climb that stuff. But the one reason I bring that up is here's a bunch of them. You can kind of see them. I've got them just stacked up in the barn here, because you never know what you might need. But this one right here is dogwood, and this is not a real biblical story, but I have heard this story a lot. And this wood is really, really hard. As I've tried driving a nail, even cutting it, it's really hard. But the story that I've heard about that is that the tree that the cross was made out of was dogwood, and it used to stand straight and big. And after the crucifixion, the tree was made to where it would never grow tall and straight again, and like dogwoods we got now. And I've always heard that the pink dogwood represents the blood of Jesus. And like I say, that's not a biblical story, but it's a good story. And I'll show you in here. This is some more of our chickens. Here. Yeah. They're getting anxious. It's about feeding time. But I'm going to finish walking you around a little bit of the farm first, and I'll come back to them. Yeah, like this door good. But yeah, we really like it out here. Now, I'm gonna walk you around here into the feeding stalls for the goats. Oh man, I got hay stacked up here. I'm hoping when we get a tractor, we'll probably go to round rolls. I'll latch this gate here. Let me get it latched back so they don't sneak out on me. These rascals are sneaky. You can see here, this is different places we feed here. And then, of course, these stalls here, that's where they feed as well. Here's some. These are some of our billies. See the one with the stick on his head, the little rascal, he kept getting his head through the fence and getting stuck because we use this woven wire. It's got the squires in it, and they get their head. The billies' horns grow different than the girls, so they're easier to get stuck. So when they start getting stuck, we duct tape a stick to their head to teach them not to do it. So, but one reason I wanted to bring you out here is right here. This is the corner of our lower shed of the barn. Kind of get you a better shot here, going down. But you can see the corner of the barn is sitting on this rock. I'm gonna walk you back inside and kind of give you a quick look here. The corner of the barn is actually built. The pole is sitting on this gigantic rock. And this always reminds me about the cornerstone that the builders rejected. And like I say, there's just so many great stories, biblical stories that you can come up with. And you know, Jesus, in our communions, you know, do this in the remembrance of me. It's always good to remember what God teaches us in His Word. And not only that, but even for me, where He's brought me from and where He's got me now. And in it's like this water trough right here. It's still, and it reminds me, you know, of the pool of Bethesda. And even, you know, when the water is disturbed, you know, and then it moves. And there's just so many different great things that you can do. And this is our lower field here. Our neighbor does have a big pond back here. We did have a pretty good flood this last year. Wiped out some of our fence. You can kind of see this trough that comes, you know, right down through here all the way up to the back fence back there. And water was coming through here. I mean, but it washed out the whole fence. So what I done here was try to eliminate it tearing our fence down. So you can see I've got a cattle gate here. And then what I did, I fastened a steel pole, about 1.25 inch steel pole, all the way across. And then what I've done is took gate hinges, and what I did is put a bolt through where the gate pin usually goes, and I put washers and nuts, and then I've got them one on each end and one in the middle. You can see the other one down there. Now what I did with the gate is I just took a small piece, you can see it here, I don't know if you, hope you can, yeah, right there, a small piece of electric fence wire. So if we do get flooded again, the water will break those small thin electric fence wires, and the gate will swing out with the flow of the water, and it will not break our fence. I've got light poles here as the corner post, and I've actually got a tree right up here as the corner with a post down from it. You can see it braced off there. So hopefully that will take care of any future problems of flooding. I mean, If you can see this, see if I can zoom in on it for you here a little bit. The water, when it was flooding, was at the top. That's about 6 feet high, and the water was at the very top of that. I mean, it was really a gushing down through here, and I mean, it just wiped the fence out. And we'll wrap this video up. And like I say, this is my first one I've done for us here at Little Valley. Dory usually does it all. And but as I start doing things around the farm, I'll try to make some videos, maybe to help some of y'all that's just starting, maybe just bought a few acres, and you're wondering what you can do with those few acres. There's so much you can do. Like I say, we'll make some more videos, and I'll make some stuff. And you'll see right here, this is where the water came through and tore down fence. So what I did is, instead of putting the woven wire back up, I bought some cattle panels, which is a lot thicker, and then I put some rebar down here and tied it. I hope you can see it with my shadow. I don't know. I hope you can. But anyway, I took, there it is, rebar, and took some rebar ties and tied it to it, and that way it makes it a lot stronger, so when the water comes through, it won't be as likely to tear the fence down. And what I did do on these, I think these 4 posts, yeah, there's 4 posts right here. I concreted all in to make them stronger too, so if the water comes back. And then here, of course, this is kind of where that tree that tore down our woodshed, you can see where it was. The tree was right here. So after we got the tree down and cut up, I had my friend come over, and we dug up the stump and turned it upside down so it wouldn't re-sprout out and grow again. Here's the goat's salt lick. And then, you know, even that, you can think about this, you know, where he tells us about the salt losing its savor. You know, there's just so much. If we look, we can see God everywhere. And the stories we're told in the Bible, and the blessings that we have through Him, I tell you, it's just, we're so grateful for what we have and what He's blessed us with. You know, some people may say, you know, farmers get a bad rap sometimes because we're looked at as not very educated or something like that. People always come up with stories, but I think we're very educated. We're educated a lot of times in common sense, and that's getting to be to where it's not known well much anymore. But you know, we haven't always had these places like McDonald's and Walmarts and grocery stores that we can go to. And it's important as small homesteaders to know how to grow your own food, raise your own food. I mean, you know, worst case scenario, I mean, you can always start eating off your flock as it reproduces. I mean, you know, goat probably wouldn't be my first choice of meat, but you could if you needed to. The chickens, they supply you eggs and chicken meat too if you need it. So, I mean, and then you got your garden stuff and your canning and, you know, the corn and tomatoes and everything that you can get in a garden. So, I just hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope I didn't rattle off too much. And thank you for joining us here at Little Valley Farms. Give you one more span here. And as my wife Dory and my little boy Trevor always says, like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you again real soon. Thanks for watching.